Today's bar sculpt class, you will need a bar or a ledge. I'm just using a chair for today. You can use a wall as well. Anything you have around you. I've even seen people use oven handles, chair, couch, ledge, anything. I'm also going to use 1 pound dumbbells as we get through our warm up. You can go heavier, you can do everything with just your body weight. Let's go ahead and start with our warm up. Feet hip width apart and parallel, drawing your knee up and over to a side lunge, pressing your hips back as you plant that foot. Of course, if you're tracking your workout, go ahead and start your workout. Really getting that knee up and over to the side lunge. One more on each side. From here, we're going to hold it in a low, wide squat. Feet are wider than your hips, toes are turned out. Bring your arms out to a T, bend in your knees. Tiny circles with your arms, palms facing down. Keep your shoulders relaxed down from your ears. Chest is lifted. Tiny circles. And then reverse that direction. Palms are still facing down towards the floor. Your knees are tracking out over your toes. Relax your shoulders down from your ears. Relax your forehead. And then stopping the circles, draw your opposite hand towards your opposite foot, bending deeper into that knee, that foot that you're reaching towards, maybe reaching for your shin, your calf, your thigh, reaching for whatever you can. Deeper bend. Let's do one more on each side. From here, keep the bend in the knees, hinge forward at your waist. Give yourself a nice big hug and then squeeze your shoulder blades together as you lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Core is engaged. All right, on your next one, go ahead and release your right knee to the floor. Untuck your right toes, pressing into your left knee, allowing your right hip to open up. Chin and chest stays lifted. And from here, we're going to move backwards and forward. Draw your hips towards your heels, straighten the left leg, and then press the hips forward. And then back. Just moving here with your breath. On your next one, hold your hips towards your heels. Keep your left leg straight. Flex your left toes up towards the ceiling. Hinge forward. Maybe bringing the crown of your head towards your toes. Feeling that stretch all on the back side of your left leg. And then gently come up, switching sides, left knee down, untuck your left toes. Take a big step forward with your right foot, pressing into your right knee, allowing your left hip to open. Chin and chest stays lifted. From here, we're going to alternate pressing the hips back, hips towards your heels, and forward. Straighten that right leg, and then bending deeper into the right knee. On the next one, hold your hips back towards your left heel. Keep that right leg straight, flex toes up towards the ceiling. Maybe bringing your nose towards your knee, heart towards your thigh, folding forwards. And on your next inhale, rise up to standing. Roll your shoulders back. Roll them forward. Maybe grab a sip of water. We're going to grab one weight in each hand. If you're using them, they're always an option. From here, we're going to bring the feet, heels together, toes are apart. From here, arms by your side, we're going to come into a plie with an overhead lift of the arms. As you lift the arms, you're bending deeper into the knees. Your shoulders remain stacked over your hips as you slide down that wall, that imaginary wall behind you. Keep it going. Arms overhead, deeper bend in the knees. Palms are facing in towards one another. Few more here. We're going to set those weights down and we're going to face towards that bar or that ledge. Keep it going. Lift and lower. As you straighten the legs, drawing the thighs towards one another, squeeze your glutes. Arms overhead as you bend deeper into the knees each time. Maybe going lower. All right, give me one more. All right, go ahead and set those weights off to the side. We're gonna face our bar. In this case, it's gonna be a chair. Bring your feet about hand width apart. Bring the heels together, toes are apart, and then slide your right foot forward. From here, we're gonna bend into the knees and we're gonna pulse the knees out. Tiny little pulses so your shoulders remain stacked over your hips. You're just gently placing your hand on that bar or that ledge. If you're using the wall, just gently place your hand, your fingertips onto that bar or that ledge. Your right foot is forward. You're just gently pressing your knees outward, away from one another, back to starting, opening up those inner thighs. Keep it going. Tiny little presses. Just a few more presses here. All right, we're gonna work into those calves. Hold the knees open. We're gonna lift both the heels and lower. Right leg lift and lower. Heels lift and lower. Right heel lift and lower. Keeping your core engaged. So as you come up onto your tippy toes, you are keeping your hips still. You can also set your hands onto your hips if you want to challenge your balance. Lift and lower. Heels lift and lower. Just that front right leg is lifting. We're going to do the same thing, working that back leg here in just a few. Coming super high on your tippy toes. Your core is engaged. With or without that bar or that ledge. Tippy toes lower, right raise and lower. Keep it going. All right, keep it going. Heels lift, lower, left leg lifts and lower. So now you're coming more of an upright position. You're squeezing your outer left glute. Keep a soft bend and that left knee. Heels lift, heels lower, back leg lifts and lowers. As you lift and lower that back leg, slightly lean into that ledge, in towards that wall. Keep it going. Heels lift, lower, left leg lifts and lowers. Really squeezing the base of your left glute, working that outer left hip. Keep it going. Lift, lower. All right, last one. From here, hold the feet planted. We're going to come into a curtsy and then bringing that left leg back directly behind the right. So you're in that fourth position, toes are pointed out. You're coming to that curtsy and then back. Bring it to that curtsy and back. Warming up those inner outer thighs just a little bit more. Find that burning sensation. You got it. Keep it going. Just a curtsy and a lift. That's it. Just a few more here. All right, you're going to want to use that bar, that ledge. Coming up next. All right, we're going to hold the left foot directly back so your hips are in line. We're going to come onto the tippy toes and we just have little tiny pulses. So you're trying to stay up on those tippy toes. Keep those heels lifted. Your toes are still turned outward. Your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Try not to lean far forward. Try not to lean backwards. Just a nice tall posture. Shoulders stacked over your hips. Either placing your hands on that bar or that ledge. Maybe placing your hands on that wall directly in front of you. Tiny little pulses. We're going to shake it out in just a few. That's it. Last 7, 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, shake it out. To keep everything symmetrical, go ahead and come back to a fourth position. This time your left foot is forward, your right foot is back. So you bring your heels together and then slide your right foot back, bend into your knees, little pulses out here. Same thing that we did with the right foot in front. So little pulses out. If you find that you're pulsing your knees out, they're not actually moving, that's perfectly fine. You're still opening up that hip flexor. Keep your knees bent, keep your hips low, tiny little pulses. Chest stays lifted. Feel free to adjust yourself, bring yourself closer or further away from that bar or that ledge if you're using it. Same thing with the wall. You've got little presses out here. Just a few more. We're going to add in those tippy toes with the front leg lift. This time the left leg is going to lift and lower. Keep it going. Little tiny presses outward. Pressing your knees further out from where you started, coming right back to starting position. All right, hold the knees pressed out. Give me that tippy toe, lower, left raise, and lower. Tippy toes, and lower, left leg raise, and lower. You've been here before. Try to keep your hips at the exact same spot. So as you come onto your tippy toes, try not to raise your hips higher. Challenge yourself to keep your hips just where they're at. Raise, lower, left leg lifts, and lower. So as you lift that left leg, you're bending deeper into that left knee, presenting your inner left thigh up towards the ceiling. Keep it going. Just a few more here with the left leg. And we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to work that back right leg, extending it back behind you. Still going, really firing up those inner and outer thighs here. All right, on the next one, lift that back right leg, bring it down. Heels lift, lower, right leg lifts and lowers. Now you're going to feel that squeeze in your right glute as you lift your heels, lower, squeeze, lift, lower. Now, the height that you lift that back right leg is up to your hip flexibility. That's why we added those knees in and out, opening up those hips a little bit more. You can also hinge forward more, giving yourself more distance to raise and lower that leg. So notice that my upper body stays completely upright. My range of motion on that back right leg is limited, whereas if I hinge forward, I can lift that leg higher. Keep it going. We're going to come into those curtsies next. You still got those heel raise and lowers with a back right leg lift and lower. Squeeze your right glute. All right, plant that right foot. Once you get finished there, give me a tiny pulse. Right toes come back to that diagonal, back to that left foot, out from your left shoulder, and then back. So you're in that fourth position, and then you're in that curtsy. You can also challenge your balance by removing your hands from that ledge or that wall. Maybe bringing your hands to your hips, elbows wide behind your head. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Your toes are pointing outwards. That's it. Just a few more here. Almost there. You got it. Stay with it. Really firing up your left quad here. We're going to come back to those tippy toes. We gave those calves a little bit of a break. We're going to fire them up again. All right, place that right foot directly back from your right hip. Come up onto those tippy toes and give me those little pulses. So as you're pulsing your knees down, your hips down, your knees are tracking outward. They're not staying in together. Make sure that as you're bending your knees, opening up your hips, your knees are going outward, making that beautiful diamond shaped with your lower body. Chest is lifted. So as you're bending your knees, you're not rolling forwards, you're not wiggling side to side. If you are, place your hand on that ledge and then just tiny little pulses. Imagine you're sliding down a wall behind you. All right, give me 3 more. And 2. And 1. All right, shake it out. We're going to use that ledge once again. All right, I'm going to Move this over to this side. Grab a weight in your right hand. Place your left forearm on the bar or that ledge. From here, we're going to set our little timer here so we get full 60 seconds. From here, extend your right leg straight back. From here, we're going to lift that right arm and right leg. Your right arm is straight. You're hinging forward. So you can, of course, always go without that bar or that ledge and just placing your hand on your hip, maybe your hand on the wall. You guys can see my left hand. You can also always place your left hand or forearm on the bar for more support and just slightly hinging forward. Your right arm and your right leg are doing the work. They are straight. Keep it going. Sit. Almost there. Squeezing your lower right glute as you lift it higher. Your right leg is straight. Locking out that right knee. Keep a soft bend in your standing left knee. Your right arm is straight. All right, hold your right arm and your right leg lifted. From here, we're going to bend the heel in towards the glute as you draw your thumb towards your shoulder and then extend. Bend and extend. So hammer curl with a heel glute tap. So your heel does not have to tap the glute. You do want to move it in that direction. Your right knee is slightly back behind your staying left leg, so you don't want to have your legs parallel. You want to keep that distance between your knees. Keep it going. Almost there. Palm is facing in the entire time. Try not to let the right toes tap. That's how far you want your right leg lifted. Try not to lean to that left side. I know it's a lot to think about. You got it. All right, go ahead and set that right leg down. Maybe shake it out. Bring your elbow in towards your side again. Palms facing in. Your left hand is on that bar or that wall. We're going to step back into a reverse lunge as we press our right arm forward. So as you step your right leg back, your right knee is directly under your right hip. Your left knee is directly above your left ankle. Extend, draw it in. So your palm is facing up the entire time. Keep it going. That's it. As you step that right leg back, you are extending your right arm directly out in front and then drawing it back in towards your rib cage. Palm is facing in, left hand gently on that ledge. You can also place your left hand on your hip. Challenge your balance a little bit more. You've got it. All right, next one, we're going to hold that left leg back. Hold your elbow in towards your side, so we're bringing that elbow back in. If you want, you can walk a little bit further towards that ledge. From here, we're just going to pulse the knee down, open up the arm, and bring everything back in. So pulse, bring it back in. So if you're looking at yourself forwards, you can always hold on to that ledge with your left hand. Just place it onto your hip. As you bend deeper into those knees, that arm is coming directly out from the side. You want that elbow to stay tucked in towards your rib cage, so you're not allowing it to open up. You're just swinging it like a door. That rotation is up to your shoulder, so maybe it is an inch or two, maybe it is a few inches. Do what you can today. Gaze remains forward. All right, from here, shake it out. We have the other side. Bring this back over here. Take this time to shake out your legs, wiggle it out. We're going to place that weight into our left hand. Right forearm is down on the bar or your right hand. We're going to extend that left leg back. Left arm, left leg are working. Lift and lower. So avoid locking out that right knee. Have a soft bend in that standing right leg. Your right toes are just relaxed, pointed forward, maybe slightly outward depending on your hips. Your right toes are facing down. You do not have to flex them or point them, just relaxed. You want all that focus to be in your left glute, your left tricep, straight arm, straight leg. Just the left side working here, keeping everything symmetrical. Your core is engaged, so as you hinge forward, you're working that left glute, your left hamstring, that left tricep. All right, on the next one, hold that left arm, left leg lifted. From here, bend your heel in towards your glute, bend your left thumb in towards your left shoulder, and then extend, bend, and extend. Go at your own pace, slow it down as much as you need to. Focus on your breath, pick up that pace when you're ready. Bend and extend. So you're bending your left arm and left leg in opposite directions, but they're both bending at the joint, and then you're extending them. Your left knee is slightly staggered back from your standing right leg, so if you find that your left leg is drooping, just be mindful, go ahead and bring it back. Keep it going. We're going to shake it out here in just a few. You got it. Keep the core engaged. Left heel in towards your glute. Palm is facing in. Left thumb and index finger towards your left shoulder. All right, go ahead and shake it out. Place your right hand onto that ledge. Bring your elbow in towards your side, palms facing in. We're going to step back with the left leg as your left arm extends forward. I don't know why I always have a hard time when I face this wall in my house. I don't know why. So if I lose my balance, it's all right. Just come back into it. It happens to all of us. As you step your left leg back, your left arm is forward, your right knee is directly over your right ankle, your left knee is directly under your left hip. So adjust your feet as you need to and then bring everything back in. Keep it going. Almost there. Give me one more. All right, hold that left leg back. You're in that reverse lunge. Draw your elbow in towards your side. Adjust your feet if you need to do so. Chest is lifted, right hand on the bar or on your hip. Just open as you pulse the knees down and bring it back in. Maybe one arm is different than the other. That is perfectly fine. So your front foot is directly out from your right hip. Your back foot is directly out from your left hip. Just an open and close. So again, we're not letting that arm just fly loose. You want to keep that elbow tucked close in towards your rib cage. It's as if it's a swinging door. Just open and close. That's it. More here. I know it burns. We're going to shake it out. And 3. 2 more if you're with me. Last one. All right, shake it out. All right, let's see what we have next. Grab a sip of water whenever you need it. We're gonna bring our right side towards the bar. Let's just keep our weight in our left hand. Heels together, toes are apart. Stepping the left leg out to a wide plie and then left heel in towards the right. So that right leg is completely still. It's not moving. It is grounded into the floor. Just your left leg steps out. Deep bend in the knees. Chest is lifted. So as I come into that plie, see if I have enough room. You're stepping out. So notice that my chest isn't hinging forward. I'm not sticking my butt out. Keep your hips tucked in and then back in. Step it out and back in. Just that left leg is moving. Your knees are tracking out from your toes. So what I mean by that is when you come into that wide plie, your knees are coming inward. If they are, be mindful, actually press your knees open or come to a higher position. That's perfectly fine. All right, from here, hold it in that wide second. Your right hand is on that bar. From here, we are going to have a tiny pulse, tippy toe, and tiny pulse. Tippy toe with that left leg, and then pulse. Keep it going. If you want, as you bring that left tippy toe in, you can extend that left arm forward, drawing it back in. Do more here. So as you pulse in this plie position, your shoulders continue to stay stacked over your hips. So don't fold forward, be mindful. Imagine you're sliding between two panes of glass and your body is just completely stuck between those panes of glass. You can't go forward or backward. All right, relax your left foot, maybe shake out those hips, come back into it. This time, we're going to pulse and a right heel lift. Pulse and right heel lift. That's it. Higher on that that right tippy toe. We did the left next last time. We're doing the right tippy toe this time. You're bending both of your knees. You're alternating, lifting and lowering that right heel. Keep it going. Almost there. A few more. We're going to add some core in here in just a moment. That's it, with or without that weight in your left hand. All right, we're gonna add on here. So plie, heels lowered, plie, left heel raise. We're going to side, come down 2 times. Come down, hand to your hip, lower the heel, lift, 2 side bends. So in between your side bends towards the ledge, you are lowering that heel, giving that calf and that inner outer thigh just a little bit of a breather, not too much. You want to keep that tension on. Lower and lift. Think controlled movement. And same thing, as you lean your left arm towards that ledge, you are bringing that left arm directly over your right shoulder. You're not allowing your body to roll forwards or backwards. Give me one more full set. Lower, lift, 2 side bends. I know that right leg is shaking. It's on fire. All right, step it out. I am once again going to move this over to the other side. I like to keep everything symmetrical here. All right, shake it out. Maybe grab a sip of water. I know your legs are on fire now. So with your left side towards the bar, bring your heels to touch, toes open. Just bringing your right hand to your hip. We're just stepping that right leg out. So back to where we started, doing the same thing on the right side. So that left leg, that foot is grounded. From your big toe to your pinky toe, straight back to your heel. You're bending and extending into that left knee. You're also doing the same thing with the right, but you're stepping that right leg out to a wide plie and back in. A few more here, then we're going to add in those tippy toes, firing up those calves. That's it. Almost there. Maybe smile through it, chest stays lifted. Knees tracking out over your toes. All right, on your next one, hold it wide. From here, we're going to pulse, right heel lift, and pulse, right heel lift. Now notice, when we were doing this, and that ledge was on the right side, we really felt it in our right leg. Now, you should feel it in that left leg, the one that's not raising and lowering that heel. Keep it going. A little itch, a little pulse. So alternating, lowering and lifting the heel with the plie pulse. Right hand just stays on your hip. Keep it going. Chest stays lifted. Knees are tracking out over your toes. Those inner and outer thighs should be fired up now. All right, give me one more. All right, maybe bump the hips side to side. Then back into those knees. Now we have the left side. I know. Left heel raise and lower. Raise and lower. Notice what sensations you feel in your body this time with the left heel raising and lowering, but you're still bending into both of the knees. Your chest stays lifted. Keep it going. Almost there. You've got it. Maybe smile through it. I know it burns. We're in it together. We got this. Tiny plie. Left heel raise, left heel lower. We're going to add those side bends in here next. Stay with me. All right, add on here. Lift and lower that left heel. Lower it down. Side bend. Release, side bend. 2 side bends. Come back to where you started. Keep the bend in the knees. Pulse the hips with the heel raised. Lower the heel. Give me those 2 side bends. As you come into that side bend, be mindful not to roll your body forward. Your top shoulder is stacked directly over your bottom left. Plie pulse, heel lift, heel lower. Side bend. Return up, side bend. You've got this. We're going to come onto the floor next. Working some core. That's it. Last one here. Make it your best yet. Great. Shake it out. Bring those weights with you just in case. I'm going to set this bar off to the side ledge. So if you're using a bar or a ledge, you can just step away from it. We are going to come onto the floor. From here, we're going to roll back to a reverse tabletop position. So your knees are bent at 90. Your knees are directly over your hips and your feet directly in line with the floor. Elbows are wide. Give me 1 crunch up. Hold a crunch. Right toes tap and lower. Lower the shoulders. Lift the shoulders. Right toes tap. Bring it back to start. Lower the shoulders. Lift. Right toes tap. So you're alternating crunch, hold the crunch, right toe tap, bring it back together, lower the shoulders, lift, right toes tap. So the entire time you're doing this, you want your lower back glued to the floor. Not a sip of air or water can get through your lower back and that floor. Drawing your navel in towards your spine. Lower, lift. Right toes tap, just the right side. All right, we're going to switch now. Lower the shoulders, lift the shoulders, left toes tap, bring it back to center. So that right leg is completely still this time. Just your left leg is moving. Keep it going. Almost there, you've got it. Alternating crunch, hold that crunch, left toes tap. Draw everything back into where it started. Almost there. You've got it. Toes tap, lift, lower the shoulders, whoop, lift the shoulders, toes tap, and lift, lower the shoulders, lift, toes tap, lift, lower the shoulders, lift. All right, give me 1 more here. All right, now we have a double toe tap. Shoulders lower, shoulders lift, double toe tap, and lift. Now, since we're doing both the toes, if you find that your lower back is lifting up, if your lower back is arching, and you feel that you can place your hands or any part, or if you can have any kind of space between your lower back and that floor, don't lower your legs this far. You want to tilt your pelvis toward your chest. So if you hold on to your hips as you're doing this and you find that your thumb is rotating up towards the ceiling, actively be mindful that your Basically, you're holding a sandwich completely upright and not with the thumb upwards. And then you're going to crunch up, tap, lift, lower the shoulders, crunch up, tap, lift. So just your shoulders are lifting and lowering along with your lower body. Your lower back is not moving. All right, give me one more. All right, if you had your hands on your hips to check your posture, go ahead and bring your elbows wide behind your head. Knees are still at the tabletop. We're going to extend our legs to the diagonal and then draw them in. So your shoulders are lifted. You can always also lower your shoulders, just gazing directly up towards the ceiling. Elbows are still wide, opening up your chest. Extend your legs to the diagonal, draw them back in. So you want to keep your knee pulled into your spine. You want your lower back zipped towards the floor. If you find that your lower back is arching up, if your tummy is doming outwards, maybe extend your legs to the ceiling and then bend. You're still working those lower abs here. The lower your legs are towards the floor, the more challenging it is. So try the different dimensions, maybe lower towards the floor, maybe at the diagonal, maybe up towards the ceiling. Find what works for you. All right, give me one more wherever you're at. Bend the knees, plant your feet flat on the floor, zip your legs together and bring your hands down by your hips, palms facing down. We're just going to do a glute bridge, raise and lower, squeezing your glutes, not just at the top, but the entire time that you are doing these glute bridge raises. Your shoulders are pressed in towards the floor, so we're not doing a full bridge or wheel, just your lower back. Now we want the lower back to lift up. After all that talk I just gave you all about keeping your lower back zipped in, now we want to lift it up with your hips and then lower it down. Keep it going. That's it. All right, draw your knees back over your hips. Your knees are bent. From here, elbows are wide. We're going to extend the right leg long to a hover. The left leg does not move. We're just going to lift and lower that right leg. So back again to zipping our lower back towards the floor. You're working your lower abs. That left knee is completely still. You can also always plant that left foot flat on the floor. Your right leg is straight. Point through your right toes, raising it up towards the ceiling, down towards the floor. You can just rest your neck completely flat on the floor, gazing up towards the ceiling. Engage your abs, whether that left foot is glued to the floor or your left knee is bent, left knee directly over your hip. Keep it going. Give me 3 more. And 2. All right, last one. All right, bend both of your knees. Bring your feet flat on the floor. Feet this time are hip width apart and parallel. Hands remain by your hips, palms facing down. Press in towards the soles of your feet and lift your hips and lower. We're back to those glute bridge raises and lowers. Squeezing your glutes the entire time, not just as you come to a raise. Your upper back is stayed pressed in towards the floor. Your gaze remains directly up towards the ceiling. Keep it going, lift and lower. Almost there. Just a few more. I didn't forget about the single leg bicycle with the left leg. We will do that next. Still going. Almost there. All right, give me one more. Hold the hips down. So now you're zipping your lower back to the floor. Bend your knees over your hips. Keep your right knee still. Your left leg extends. Point through your left toes. And then a raise and lower. Working the lower abs here. You can also always lower that right leg towards the floor. Keeping your core engaged. Your lower back is zipped to that floor. Your shoulders are also glued down. Your gaze up towards the ceiling. Try to avoid looking down to strain your neck, or strain your neck to look down, rather, should I say. Just a few more. All right, 2 more. Last one. All right, bend both of your knees. This time, we're going to release the feet down, back to hip width apart and parallel. Palms down by your side. Lift your hips, hold your hips lifted, open your knees, draw them back in line with your hips and lower. Lift, open the knees, back in line with your hips and lower. Lift, open, in line, lower. Moving here with control. So you're rocking on that outer knife edge of your foot as you open your knees, keeping your hips lifted. Your shoulders are staying planted in towards the floor. Open, close, lower, lift. You've got it. Keep it going. Just a few more. Last one. Go ahead and lower your hips. Bring the soles of your feet to touch. So butterfly your knees open. And then just flap your butterfly wings just a few times here. Opening up those hips just a little bit more. All right, hold your knees down. So that motion that we did, allowing you to open up your hips and then keeping your knees open. Press into the outer knife edge, like the pinky edge of your foot, palms down by your side. And now we're going to do frog glute bridge, raise and lowers. Gaze remains up towards the ceiling. Your shoulders are still pressing into the floor. Just your hips and your glutes are lifting. So your range of motion is limited because your soles of your feet are together. Your knees are butterflied open. So as you lift your hips, try not to use your thighs. You want to work just your glutes, keeping those knees open, and then lower. Give me 3 more. 2 more. And last one. All right, draw the knees in towards your chest. Roll yourself side to side like a ball. Extend your soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. You can hold on to the back side of your thighs. You can also grab the outer part of your feet coming into happy baby. Nice lower back stretch here, rolling side to side. From here, come back to center, draw the knees together. We're going to rock and roll ourselves 5 times. Try not to touch your feet, a little bit of ab work here, and roll back, roll up. 3 more. 2 more, you got it. Just when you thought we were done. I promise we're stretching. All right, when you get there, hold it. Try to hover those feet. Maybe extend the arms for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the feet down. Go ahead and extend your right leg. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Flex your left toes to protect your left knee. You're welcome to hold it here by pressing your left knee down, or you can walk that right foot as close or keep as far away as you'd like. Option to hold it here. You can tip that left knee down. Coming through center, tipping your right knee down, your left foot down. And just rolling side to side. Nice lower back and hip opener. Come back through center, extend your right leg, extend your left leg, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Keep your right toes flexed to protect your right knee. You're welcome to hold it here as you actively press your right knee down. You can also walk the sole of your left foot in towards your glute. You're welcome to hold it here. You can rock that right knee down. Come through center, left knee down. Doing what feels good to you today with this stretch. Taking out anything that doesn't work for you today. Come back through center, extend both of your legs. Bringing the soles of your feet to touch. Draw your right arm across your body. Avoid pulling at your wrist or your elbow. And then switch. Left arm. And switch. Draw your hands behind your back. You can place your hands on your lower back. stretching, looking up. You can also clasp your hands behind your back, bringing your thumbs away from your body, stretching your collarbone and your chest. Release everything. Come on up to standing. Feet wider than your hips. Nice big inhale. Fantastic work today. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name's Amanda.